Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Raul Gonzalez, age 37, who lives on County Road 1163 in Hopkins County, was arrested for assault of his 73-year-old father. The arrest by Hopkins County deputies took place Tuesday evening around 7 p.m. at the Gonzalez residence. He's in Hopkins County Jail charged with injury to elderly, a state jail felony. He's held on a $10,000 bond. Silver Springs Police assisted Wood County Sheriff's Office in the arrest of Joy Elizabeth Hambrick, age 33, of Winsboro. She was wanted on a warrant for possession of controlled substance penalty group 1, less than 1 gram in a drug-free zone. Silver Springs Police made contact with Hambrick Tuesday at 4:20 p.m. at Walmart, her place of employment in Silver Springs. Advised through communications that the warrant was active, the arrest was made. She's in Hopkins County Jail being held on a $35,000 bond. There was no Wednesday hearing in Justice of the Peace Court regarding the custody of hundreds of head of cattle owned by George Bergen, age 61, of Silver Springs. A settlement had been reached in the custody of the starving cattle seized by Hopkins County Sheriff's deputies and the SPCA of Texas. Justice of the Peace B.J. Tier announced Tuesday's settlement in a press conference Wednesday morning in his courtroom at the JP offices.
Due to the nature of this case, which is the case of the state of Texas and the animal seizures against George Bergen, yesterday in a pretrial hearing, all parties agreed, the state of Texas and the lawyers representing George Bergen in this case, they all agreed to Rule number 11 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedures, that parties mutually agreed to waive the presentation of evidence and consent to the entry of evidence and the verdict of the Justice Court of Hopkins County of the finding of the cruelty to treatment under this statute. The parties also agreed that consent to the order in no way constitutes any waiver of rights, and it allows Mr. Bergen to move this matter into the Hopkins County Court at Law, and that if he perfects the appeal under Section 821.025 of the statute. So this morning I signed an order finding cruel treatment of the animals according to the court findings by the consent of the parties, that George Bergen is the owner of the subject cattle, and that the George Bergen has cruelly treated the subject cattle, and further orders that the public sale of these animals by auction to the percent of Section 821.023 of the Health and Safety Code, and all costs provided by law is assessed against George Bergen. I also entered into it that the court hereby sets the bond necessary to perfect this appeal in the amount of $245,000. The Bergens in this case, Mr. Bergen in this case, has the right to appeal this up to the county court at law. By the statute, he has 10 days to appeal this. Once he has appealed it, he has 5 days to perfect it. After the 5th day, if everything is perfected, then the county court at law has 10 days to set a hearing on this case. To perfect it, as I said a while ago, there's a bond that has to be set for $245,000. Any questions?
Okay, in this according to your order, if the appeal doesn't get filed, the animals will be sold. The proceeds from that sale go where?
Proceeds of that sale, if it is not appealed, if the appeal is not perfected, then the animals will be sold. All money that is due to the state and to Hopkins County will be paid first, and then after that, by law, any money that is left over will go to Mr. Bergen.
In the event the sale doesn't bring enough money to satisfy the expenses incurred by the county and the state, will Mr. Bergen be responsible for that?
There could be a judgment set out for the remaining amount, yes.
He's going to appeal this?
I don't know yet. The agreement is that by doing this, they have the opportunity to appeal it to the next court without presenting all the evidence in this 10-day in the justice court.
This has no effect on any criminal charges?
Has no effect on the criminal, has no effect on anything that's done in the seizure case, even in county court of law, has nothing to do with the criminal charges that are against Mr. Bergen, and it cannot be held against him.
In this, is there anything, or could there be anything that would address things to come in the future as far as the ownership or treatment of livestock?
That's something that has to be worked out, could be worked out in county court at law. That would have to be that, but in this one, there is nothing that can be done. There may be, there could be an agreement, there could be something that is drawn up, but at this time, nothing is binding into that.
Mr. Bergen was represented by? His attorney.
His attorney. Yeah, I'm not going to call a name, but yeah, he was represented by an attorney. Yes.
Sharon Felt is a reader. She is a published author living in the local area. She's president of the Bright Star Literary Society of Hopkins County. She's president of the Silver Leos Writers Guild of Texas A&M Commerce, and she's a retired kindergarten teacher. Her love for children comes out in her writings, The Stable and the Sarah O'Shea series. Let's meet Sharon Felt.
The two founding members are me and Wilma Moss, and we read a book that was about a books club, and she said, we need to start a book club. I said, okay. So she got us in touch with Terry Matthews, who used to be at the Sulphur Springs Echo, but now she's in Winsboro. And the three of us got together, and we got a group of women that loved to read, and thankfully they love to eat and cook, so that's always a plus. And it's just been a lovely group. We've had it for 9 years. This is beginning our 9th year. And the women are amazing. They all have multiple talents. And we have a lot of fun, and everyone shares.
Well, there's some master quilters, master gardeners, and just men and writers, which you are one of. You are a published author.
Yes.
And do you have a book out right now?
I do. My third book, The Scary Hair of Sarah O'Shea, was my first in the series, and the second of the series came out, and it's called Sarah O'Shea and the Wacky Faucet. And there's Sarah.
There's Sarah.
And she and her companion, Claude, her dog, go to the beach, and they've never been to the beach before, and so they have a lot of discoveries. And some of them are very surprising, and they learn about the little creatures that live in the sand in the ocean tide line, and they learn how to respect them and to protect them. And it's a cute little book. And Sarah gets her hair back at the end of the first book. Sarah, The Scary Hair of Sarah O'Shea, her hair was kind of wild, and she got it fixed. But 2 hours at the beach, it was back. And so my favorite line in the book is, well, my hair is me, and that is who I'm going to be. And so she has come to grips with her hair, and that it's just a part of her.
Well, her hair is red, and it is rather wild, as you say.
It is.
And the illustrations just depict this little Sarah just so perfectly.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Now, your very first book was also a children's book.
It was. My first book was a Christmas story. Actually, it was the Christmas story. And it was told by the animals in the stable the night that Christ was born. And what they were trying to do is they knew there was something special about the woman and the baby that was coming. They didn't know what until he was born, but they tried to make his birth and his little manger after he got here as comfortable as they could, and do what they could to keep him warm and make it a pleasant beginning.
Well, for gifts, especially now at Christmas time or any time of year, your 3 books so far, and I'm sure you have ideas for more that you plan to gift us with, where could they buy these books?
They can contact me. They can get them on Barnes & Noble website and on Amazon, but they're because of the middlemen, They're about twice as much. Mine are
Okay.
$13 for soft cover plus tax, and they're $18 for the hard covers. But they're about $27 and $32 on Amazon.
Okay. All right.
So-
And we'll give a way that they can contact you.
Yes, they can. My email is abcsharon@aol.com,
Okay.
and I can certainly get them to them.
Okay. Wonderful. Now,
Shipping is free. Little commercial break there.
okay. That's good to know. Excellent to know at this time of year. So now, there's so many subjects to your life, so many areas of interest, but I want to mention the fact that you're teaching again. You're a school teacher.
I was an educator for 38 years.
Wow.
Yes.
And small children.
Yes. Most of it was kindergarten.
Okay.
And I found that's where my heart lies, with the little guys.
And you have some children now that you're instructing.
I do. I was given an extraordinary opportunity. A woman in my community Bible study was in my group, and we were talking about my book coming out, and she asked me if I would like to talk to some kids about writing, and I said, well, sure. Well, the next thing I knew, we had forged this alliance, and I began teaching a creative writing course to 12 little kids that are in a homeschool school. It's called the Tree House. It's just outside of Yantis. And these kids are 7 through 15. It is the most amazing little group of kids I've ever seen. They're so talented and so excited about writing. And we've been able to partner with, very generously, with Chuck Roy and his wife Nancy, who published the Community Chronicle. And they publish the kids' work every month. And they're going to help us publish an anthology at the end of the year.
Whoa.
So it was so generous of Chuck and his wife to partner with us.
That is great. It's great grounds to be on. And you're also now a member of the Silver Leo's Writing Guild.
Yes, that's a writers guild that was formed at Texas A&M Commerce by Dr. Fred Tarpley several years ago. He had a memoir writing class, and after the class was over, the members decided they didn't want to stop. And so he helped them form a writers guild. And it has met ever since then. I think 2001. It's been for quite a while. And he helped them form this writing guild, and they meet once a month at the alumni building at Texas A&M Commerce. And they published anthologies, and an anthology is a collection of either an individual's writings, whether it's short story or poetry or a combination of genres, and or it can be a group of people's writings. And so this will be our 4th or 5th, I can't remember, anthology that we're publishing, and it comes out today. We're so excited about it. Yes.
Wow.
So,
Is any of your writing in there?
yes, I have 3 pieces in there. One is a memoir, one is a little story about a little mouse, and the other one is a little story about, I can't remember.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I put it in there.
And you have been cramming a lot of things into your December too, because I know you're busy in several areas.
Oh, yes.
Well, it'll come to you, I'm sure, shortly, and you'll tell us. So today you go to Commerce to not only the monthly meeting, but sort of a Christmas party today.
Oh, yes.
For Silver
Dr.
Leos.
Keck, who is the president of the university, has so generously offered to host a Christmas party for the Guild, because a lot of them are Texas A&M Commerce and East Texas State alum. And so he's hosting a Christmas party at his home today, and so we're excited.
And you are president of Silver Leos this year.
I am. I was very honored by that, because there are some amazing writers in there. Several of the writers have published 30 books, longtime journalists, very well respected in the field, and I'm just honored to be among them, just associating with them, much less be their president.
Silver Leos, well, of course, Texas A&M Commerce mascot is the lion. And so the Silver Leos are those not so young writers.
Yes, they're the
Scholars.
experienced writers.
Okay.
The life experienced writers.
Okay. Okay, I attended a workshop that Silver Leos put on, and it was very enriching. Someday I hope to be able to get into Silver Leos and have the time to devote to all that wealth of experience that you can glean from the other writers.
Oh yes, it's a group that doesn't mind sharing their knowledge, their ups and their downs, their successes and failures. And the area of writing and publishing is a very tricky road to follow. There are so many things that a new writer does not even have a clue about, and the people that have been there and have had success with it are so dear to share with us, that are the ones of us that are just beginning. And we do critiques of our writing each month, and so we get the benefit of their experience. And one of our members is an editor by profession, and she's helped Jim with his books. Jim Ainsworth with his books, and she does. She's done quite a lot of. She does the editing for our anthologies as well.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see the anthology that does come out today. Well, so will that be available to?
Yes, we're selling them for $10, and you can contact Vivian Freeman. She is our editor. She's the lady that is the editor, and or you can contact me, and I can get you in touch with them or get you a book.
Okay.
And
Again, that's abcsharon@aol.com to reach you. Okay. You, through Silver Leos and through your growing writing expertise, now you have 3 books published. You plan to do more?
I have 3 right now that are at an illustrator's. I found an illustrator. She is delightful. She was living in Austin, but she decided that she wanted to expand her life, and she moved to New York over the holidays. And she's so enthusiastic, and she just loves art of all kinds. So I sent her the manuscripts, and she was just delighted. She wrote me the other day and said, I've just fallen in love with them, and I just don't know which one to start on. So I'm excited. Her enthusiasm kind of gives me encouragement too.
You know, there's so much more that we could talk about, and we're down to about the last 3 or 4 minutes that we have to talk in this segment. But, for example, avoiding pitfalls and taking the right path as you pursue, let's say, a writership, you need the expertise of others who've already trodden those steps. For example, like you've got these manuscripts ready. Maybe you would have told her this is the next one, and then that's the next one, and that's the last one of the 3. But maybe the editor makes that distinction for you, maybe helps guide you.
Well, the 3 that I sent her are very different. One is the 3rd sequel to the Sarah series.
Okay.
And then one is a Christmas story, another
Okay.
Christmas story. And then the 3rd one is just a little children's story about a little mouse. And he lives under a keyboard in the piano.
Well, how does an editor guide you in different ways?
They do the proofreading, of course, of your manuscript. They make suggestions as to content and sequencing. They tell you what to cut, what to add, what to reorganize, and they just tighten up your work.
Okay.
So many times we tend to write like we talk. You don't do that when you're writing. You want a very tight story, because your reader gets lost in the, oh, this happened and that happened, and they want to be moving through the story. And an editor can help you eliminate a lot of the fluff that you don't need.
Okay. And so can you must you pay for this type of service? Must every writer pay for this type of service? Are there editors that you may know? People who help in that aspect?
Yes, there are usually 2 types of editors that you can pay for, and that usually happens after you sent it to all your friends and say, what do you think about this story? And you send them a red pen. Believe me, some of my papers have come back from friends just bleeding with red ink. But it was very helpful because you write in the beginning for yourself because you have a story and it has to get out.
Yes.
It just wiggles around inside you till it finds an avenue to come out. But then when you want your work published, you want to write for the readers that you're going to be serving. And if they don't like it, you're not going to sell any books. So you really need to have the input of the people in the audience for whom you're writing.
Okay. Well, I think you've hit the mark because little Sarah in your works becomes very dear. She's a very endearing little character, and you just never know what she's going to do next. And I suppose she has many adventures yet to be written.
She does.
Consider Sharon Felt's books that she's written, The Stable or the two in the Sarah O'Shea series. And consider joining with her in some of her endeavors, such as the Bright Star Literary Guild, or find out more about the Silver Leos if you have an itch to write.
It's a wonderful place, just even if you're writing for yourself.
Thank you, Sharon, for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, and have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, and you the same. And please come back in the new year and let's explore a little bit more about writing and
Would
reading.
love to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Here's Don with sports.
The Lady Cats basketball team won their district opener at home against Greenville 66-37 Tuesday night. The number 10 ranked Lady Cats are 1-0 in district and 13-2 overall. The Lady Cats had to play without Autumn Tanton, who was out with an ankle injury. Kaylee Jefferson had a big first half and scored 21 points. Sadavia Porter had a big second half and scored 25 points. Jamia Hall scored 8 points filling in for Tanton. I talked with Lady Cats basketball coach Jeff Chapman courtside after the game.
Started out a pretty close competitive ball game, but the Lady Cats outscored them in every quarter and just got a lot of points from a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, I was concerned with the first half. It was kind of nonchalant, like, okay, here we go, typical Greenville, and that'll get you beat sometime. And they were really too close for me at halftime. I just saw them on film, and I thought that we could make them turn it over a little more than we were. And then halftime, we talked some, and we talked about coming out the first 5 minutes, dominating the game, and dominating the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. And I don't know, sometimes we come out, we on fire, like at the tournament, we ready to go. And other times, we don't get up. Sometimes that could cost you. But I told him, I said, I can't complain because we changed the motors or we changed gears the second half. And with the margin of victory, you can't just harp on that. You just go and you thank goodness that we're good enough to win.
Now, a big part of that, maybe for foul trouble or whatever, I think Sadavia Porter had about 5 at the half. But in that third quarter, she must have had like 12 points, had a couple of threes, and really just kind of settled into her game and ended up with, 25, 27 points. So she really came on in the second half.
Yeah, at halftime I talked to her. I hope I had something to do with it. I told her that we need her to play well all the time. She can't have lackadaisical games where she doesn't come to play. We don't have that, that type of weapons where we can just, if she doesn't do it, somebody else will pick it up. She's part of the main kids that get us going. And I talked to her about it, before we came into the gym at the end of the half. And I told her that we need her and that she has to pick up her game. And then we both agreed by the end of the game that she had done that. So, I appreciate her. And, she's doing some things more and more that I've never seen her do. With a Euro step where you step to the inside and go roll them up at the basket. And it used to be that's all she could do. And I called some plays coming out of the half, third quarter, for her to see if we get her going. And she hit her first 3, and that was a good thing. When you got people you need to get going on your team, you try to call sets for them. And Katie, she was going most of the game. And we call a lot of things, get her touches too.
Yeah.
Autumn was out with an ankle injury today, and hopefully she'll come back to practice tomorrow. And I was a little worried that we would, miss her, and we did miss her, and we always miss her because she's one of our main players. But this is the first time we had to play without any of those 8. And we're already down to 8, and then we had to play with 7. But Trayla came in. Came in and did well. Danielle came in, and Mimi got the start for her. So I think it was a good experience for all the kids, and for the 7 or 8 we need, that hopefully give her some confidence, Trayla, Kelly, and then it gave me confidence in that I could use her more, and that's a good thing.
Big, important to win the first district game. Your second one will be a road trip into a tough place, Hallsville. What do you know about them this year?
We got film yesterday or today, and I got to look at it in the next 2 days. And tomorrow is more of a weightlifting, kind of a circuit training, trying to strengthen the girls and keep the girls strong all year for endurance. And then we'll spend we do it about 30 minutes. Then we spend the other hour and a half. We're going to shoot and try to put in another defense and go over what we do and try to get better at a half-court trap. We ran a half-court trap 1-2-2 one time, and they scored, and I lost faith in it. And I got to look at the film and see what they did and see what the adjustments are going to be. But tomorrow is more of a maintenance day. We've been using Wednesday as that and trying to get out real close to 5 so kids can go to church. And we've always promised that we're going to lift weights all the way through after preseason. And the girls got real good with push-ups, and I was impressed with it. And Coach Wells put on a good little weightlifting clinic with the girls, and she taught them. So I want to continue doing it. I saw a long time ago Michael Jordan lifted the whole season when he was getting beaten up and battered during the season. And he showed that helps you with your endurance. So that's what tomorrow will be. And then Thursday will be more of a prep, getting ready for that. Hallsville, they got a new coach, so I imagine their system will be somewhat changed. And Greenville has a new coach. Some of the, and there's one more guy, Marshall, they have a new coach. So, a lot of new faces. And, I'm sure the Greenville guy will look at the film and be a little more ready this time. But, he's coming in brand new, and I know what that feels like.
Yeah, I thought Greenville looked improved. They looked like they had some players. They made it close early, and we just, kept increasing the lead, but it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't easy. That's what I think. Sometimes we think it's going to be easy, but just looking at Greenville, he got about 35, 40 girls out from freshmen to seniors, and they have out way more than we do. So, I knew that they would, be somewhat changed. I can't say improvement because it's so early. He had like 9 or 12, about 12 freshmen, or their third group, and then I think we had a triple dip. We won all 3. I love those when we can. And Hallsville will be a 3-game trip as well.
The Saltillo Lady Lions lost to Class 4A Pleasant Grove 54-29 on Tuesday. After trailing Pleasant Grove 37-9 at the half, the Lady Lions actually outscored the Lady Hawks 14-8 in the third period. Tori Mobley led the Lady Lions with 9 points. Madison Simmons had 8 points. Anna Reeder scored 4 points. Chandler Bain and Maddie Smith had 3 points each, and Jordan Sestair added 2 points. The Lady Lions are now 5-13 for the season. They will play next at North Hopkins.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.